What's up, it's your boy Vaughn, another reaction, and today's video we have the Vini Jr. problem nobody at Real Madrid wants to admit by Ramboa TV. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and let's get into it. My damn camera working again. Aye!
So barring any miraculous favors from the rest of La Liga, it's almost confirmed that Real Madrid will go trophyless.
Too many egos, I'm telling y'all. Too many big time players, I'm telling you.
For the second season. And now we aren't counting the UEFA Super Cup or Intercontinental Cups last season. You can't hang your hat on those. That's not what players dream of winning. It's a nice potential addition to what they really wanted to win in the first place, right? But this season, Real Madrid can't even point to a Supercopa. Runners up.
And this nigga Vini always complaining, gang. Like, gang, control your fucking emotions, gang.
There. Out in the round of 16 in the Copa del Rey, out of the Champions League in the quarterfinals, just like the previous year. And it is difficult to see how they get out of this cycle of underachieving despite having a fantastic squad. But the underachievement comes thanks to this squad's dysfunction. And
This Real Madrid looking just like that 2000s Real Madrid that they had David Beckham, R9, them niggas ain't winning shit.
Inability for the man at the top to make a very difficult decision that needs to be made at this point. And no, it isn't who will coach them, but that being said,
who y'all gonna get as your coach now?
really will be a hunt, because the way things have transpired at Real Madrid, it's difficult to see the people whom they want to sign, the assumed first choice candidates, actually saying yes to Real Madrid.
Yeah, what happened to Zidane, gang? Why is Zidane not coaching again? Like, that nigga three-peated and just quit and said, I ain't doing this again. Like, what the fuck? You three-peated the Champions League, gang. What the hell?
Madrid, there isn't a strong leading candidate at the moment. Before we get into that, though, there's the Alvaro Arbeloa of it all, who, at the beginning of his tenure, didn't seem like he was long for the Real Madrid world. His first match in charge, that historic Albacete loss in the Copa del Rey, positive results followed, but performances weren't improving. There were signs here and there of improvement, but that has since fallen away again. But it's very, very difficult to blame Arbeloa for how Real Madrid are performing at this time. Sure, you could argue that a more experienced coach would do better, but Madrid had that in a way. And here's a quote for you. It's a sign that not everything is 100% right there if Xabi Alonso, who showed for more than 2 years at Leverkusen what an extraordinary coaching talent he is.
Yeah, I don't think it was Alonso, bro. I don't know.
Has to leave Real Madrid after only 6 months. And who said that? None other than the forever linked to Real Madrid man, Jurgen Klopp. This was said, of course, shortly after Xabi had been sacked, someone who was seen as a completely different manager from Carlo Ancelotti, who is a management genius, right? Because that's what Bale said managing Real Madrid is all about, managing the egos, managing the players, and allowing their genius to flow. So after Ancelotti's chill approach to trying to get Vini Jr. and Mbappe to work, and Real Madrid in general, Real went with someone who carried a lot of respect as a great player in their own history, but also a coach who had already proven they are a great tactician, someone who could organize Real Madrid's attack properly should...
Gang, that clip with that nigga Mbappe ain't listen to Alonso, bro, that clip's still crazy as fuck.
The players buy in, but they didn't. So they reverted back to the man-manager approach in Arbeloa, another former player who they hoped the dressing room would respect, and they seemingly do, but the attack still isn't sorted out. We'll get to that. Because Klopp, he doesn't seem keen at all about joining Real Madrid, or at least the public quotes we have from him don't point to that, as he's also said of links to Real, quote, "It's all just nonsense. They haven't even called once, not one single time. And my agent is over there. You can ask him too. They haven't called him either." So there is an element of, is this just media BS? But there is also a lot of evidence that has pointed to Florentino Perez being a big fan of Jurgen Klopp for some years now. So make of it what you will. But I think it is quite telling that Klopp said that...
Y'all think it's time for Perez to go? Florentino Perez, ever say his name? He is older now. Like, he own the club, right? Or something like that.
Not everything is right at Real Madrid. Speaking of people who Perez allegedly loves, there was that moment in the season where Jose Mourinho was linked with the club with a return back, but after everything that happened between Benfica, Cristiani, Vinicius, and Real Madrid, and how Mourinho conducted himself, after Mourinho himself distanced himself from Real Madrid also, it doesn't seem like he'll be taking over anytime soon. Or ever again. Another guy who can go which some people want in order to try and kill the player power within the locker room, Antonio Conte, who according to him twice turned down Real Madrid in the past, so there is an interest there. Now, he is one who has no issue leaving a club at a moment's notice, whether he's upset about the budget for signings or what have you. Well, it's usually about the budget. But his contract at Napoli goes until June 2027, and he certainly isn't one to appease egos. You are with him.
Yeah, I could just tell he ain't gonna play that shit. He look like he gonna yell at that nigga. Like,
him, you will fight for him, or you're out. Not sure he would work at Real Madrid. Another manager whose contract is up in 2027 and who has been linked to Real Madrid, Luis Enrique. I gotta say, this one...
No, my club, my PSG, no. Y'all not taking my manager, nigga. Y'all not taking my coach. Fuck out of here. He gonna sign an extension with PSG because we about to go back to back.
Really feels like a complete pipe dream. When PSG came up against Real in the Club World Cup, he made sure himself to say, quote, "You all know I'm a Barca supporter. I'm still a member and a Sporting Gijon fan too, so it's always exciting to go up against Madrid." Yeah, he played for Real, but he has also said that when looking at photos of himself at Real Madrid, he doesn't recognize himself. That, plus the potential PSG renewal, makes it a bit unlikely. Again, never say never, but it seems incredibly unlikely, especially when you factor in how at PSG he actively wanted to move away from having big stars in the team. That PSG team works because it is a collective that understands that nobody is above working hard. Nobody is above the team. A few individuals from Real probably wouldn't take to that. Plus, Enrique seems preoccupied with building something even bigger than he already has in Paris, which, it's hard to think of what that would be. Maybe they join La Liga and win that too. I don't know. They very well could win the Champions League again. They have a shot at it. Tuchel was tempting for Real Madrid, I'm sure, but he just signed a new contract with England through Euro 2028, so that seems very unlikely now. Guardiola could be leaving Manchester City, but would he manage Real Madrid as a proud Catalonian? Again,
I don't know.
It seems incredibly unlikely. Guardiola seems more likely to start a career in politics or humanitarian work after leaving Man City than to work with Florentino Perez. And he is someone who could take control of this team, who could demand the respect.
Simeone, Atletico Madrid coach? But nah, I know that nigga hate Real Madrid. I ain't gonna lie. Nah, I don't know. That nigga, Real Madrid, then beat Atletico Madrid in the Champions League final. I don't know about that.
Of the players, but I don't see it. Speaking of which, you have the never-ending Zinedine Zidane rumors, the main rival to Jurgen Klopp when it comes to the constant mentions of them being linked to Real Madrid. Look, would Zidane come back for a third time? It certainly doesn't seem like it, especially with the Zidane links to the French national team, verbal links at least, the strongest we've seen in many years of linking him to the French national team. It seems like it's finally going to happen. That would mean Didier Deschamps would be available, someone who has failed to inspire at times with his tactics with France, but whose resume is unbelievable. Making the final of 2 World Cups and a European Championship. He also won the league with Marseille back in the day, came close to winning the Champions League with AS Monaco, if not for a certain Jose Mourinho. Perhaps that's someone Perez would look to. What about a left field candidate? Someone like Lionel Scaloni. His contract ends in 2026 with Argentina. He's never managed in club football, that's true, but he has overseen Argentina's greatest period of football with 2 Copa Americas and a World Cup so far. He could be that guy who lets the players play and he just manages egos, right? You could see it. But to me, we can talk about managerial candidates all day. Most of them won't make a difference unless Real Madrid upstream their issues, unless Real Madrid cut off their main issues at the source. If the head coach of Real Madrid isn't a certain genius, we're talking about a top 1 or 2% of coaches who probably aren't even available to Real Madrid for reasons we went over, then they will never change. Perez will continue to back the players over the manager will take the blame when we all have eyes that can see. There's a big debate between Mbappe or Vinicius, or at least there was last season. But in my opinion, the choice is so clear. Real Madrid would benefit.
Real Madrid kind of remind me of like Eagles fans. Like Eagles fans gonna always blame the offensive coordinator. Like they gonna always blame the OC about a play call and when Jalen Hurts like, bro, Jalen Hurts is the reason why AJ Brown is a 3-time All-Pro. Like Jalen Hurts is a good quarterback, but he not elite though. But you know what I'm saying?
From selling
Them niggas on Eagles fans will always blame the OC.
Vinicius Jr. If he is showing
Jalen Hurts could genuinely not be playing good, and niggas gonna say OC, the OC, bro. It's the play calling, bro.
anything this season, is that he is one of the most entitled players that I have seen at a club as big as Real Madrid, who sees himself above the club, or at the very least, sees himself above his teammates and above being benched, certainly above the manager, and who has backed that up the absolute least with his on-field performances. In the past, you could call Ronaldo entitled, for example, but Ronaldo backed that up with his performances at Real Madrid. Vinicius Jr. wants that same money Ronaldo got and has done almost nothing since the Ballon d'Or snub, which, by the way, the club messed up in feeding his ego and feeding his entitlement further by boycotting that ceremony. You had Vinicius Jr. having a fit when he would get subbed off by Xabi Alonso, getting substituted when Real Madrid were winning against FC Barcelona, and he goes storming down the tunnel. And at this time, look at where Real Madrid were.
Hey, you better chill before niggas send you back to Brazil, send you back to the Brazilian league. Stop like, hey, what did you keep, gang? What you bitching for? Like, yeah, you done won 2 Champions League. Like, yeah, stop crying. Play. Like, is it that hard? Shut your mouth. Like, is it that hard for some niggas? I can't stand it.
A 7-point lead in La Liga after defeating Barcelona, something they couldn't do the season prior, top of the Champions League, and still competing in the Copa del Rey. Things were going well, and from that moment on, Real Madrid's season just got worse and worse. Division in the locker room, which finally led to the sacking of Xabi Alonso. Perez taking the side of Vini instead of backing the coach and allowing him to bench Vinicius Jr. And with Xabi gone, that petulance hasn't departed. Look at this recent loss against Bayern Munich, where you had Vini telling his teammate, Jude Bellingham, to shut his mouth. So with Vinicius, it's very, very clear that he is only happy to win if he is central to it. He made that clear when Xabi was around, when they were winning and building something before it was split in two and the club appeased someone who was trying to undermine the coach. He doesn't seem to be about the collective. It is very clear to me that this team cannot have Mbappe and Vinicius in it. 2 seasons of playing together, and nothing is going to change. If you want to bet on Vinicius, that's fine. You can do that, sell Mbappe, and continue on with Vinicius and see how that goes. But in my opinion, he seems to be doing far more harm than he does bringing good to the team. Yes, both he and Mbappe are still going to get goals. They will assist each other. But that's down to them being unbelievable players, not any kind of synergy between them. And all of the proof points towards only one being able to shine at a time. Going beyond the bad vibes, neither...
Y'all think it's time to sell Vinicius? Who do he go to? Man, I don't want to deal with that nigga at PSG. We already good on wingers. We don't need his ass. Don't send him to my team. Bayern Munich, you know, they look like they good on attack. Send them to fucking... Like, I'm thinking... Because you gonna have to drop... It's Vinicius Jr. You gonna have to drop a bag on them. Even though I know... He's still, you know, he's inconsistent at times, but he still show up sometimes. Man City, you know, that'll make Man City 10 times overpowered. You know what I'm saying? But Man City, there's not really a lot of clubs that go for him. I'm thinking Arsenal, Chelsea. I don't know.
Carlo Ancelotti nor
Cause
Xabi
yeah, he
Alonso.
genuinely gotta chill with all that crying shit for real. Cause he'll get cut. Get so they'll get tired of that eventually.
Nor Alvaro Arbeloa could find a way to make it work with them. I mean, Jude Bellingham himself has said, quote, "At times it can be difficult with two naturally left-sided players, Mbappe and Vini. It can be
But it's still crazy. These niggas still almost could have beat Bayern Munich. Like, hey, the Champions League is just a competition, bro. I don't know. I still think that this could work. I'm telling you, the Champions League is these niggas' competition. One year they gonna win. When they won in 2022, when they won their last Champions League, I'm pretty sure it was all performances, single player performances. Wasn't really playing as a team. It was just one dude having a crazy ass game, and I think they could win the Champions League. That's how they won the Champions League like that before a couple years ago.
difficult when we're all on the same side. It's not just media or pundit speculation at this point. This is a player admitting that it is difficult with them both in the team. Add in the bad vibes and the petulance, and it's clear that nothing will change no matter who is brought in as a coach in the summer, so long as Vinicius and Mbappe are still there together. But maybe there's a hint of change, as Perez allegedly entered the locker room and spoke to the players after their Champions League elimination, saying things such as, quote, "One season without trophies at Real Madrid is a failure. 2 is unacceptable. I appreciate today's effort, but the season has been a real disappointment. Playing for Real Madrid is a privilege with many responsibilities. Many of you have not met them. At least finish the league with dignity." Now, if Perez will acknowledge his own mistake and not...
Yeah, I think y'all should have kept. They should have stuck with Alonso for a little bit. Like, let the man cook. I think they should have kept him for a little bit longer.
backing
I think they got rid of him too fast, sacked him too fast.
Xabi and allowing this player power issue to exacerbate, then maybe Real can start heading in the right direction. That's my take on it, though. Definitely comment below with your thoughts on the situation. I thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Later.
But no, I'm tripping. Xabi Alonso ain't get sacked, right? He stepped down. I'm pretty sure he ain't get sacked. He stepped down. I don't think he got sacked. Sacked. Oh, he did get sacked. Oh yeah. Nah, he didn't get sacked. It was a forced dismissal, but yeah. Xabi Alonso ain't want to put up with this shit. I'm crying. Bitch, like cops to Xabi, do that nigga was out trying to put up with that player ego shit.